In today's video, I will tell you guys about a bunch of new Blender add-ons that came out in the last few days. Add-ons for modeling, animation, concept design, and much more. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'm gonna start with Concept Magic from Cheap Holters. This one is basically AI concept paint over, but glued directly into Blender kind of workflow. I mean, it is clearly aiming at that early stage and rapid iteration phase, where you want something that looks right and looks polished like a concept render without doing the full lighting and material grind. So you can start with a rough block of a vehicle or something like that, choose an AI preset, and give it out on a prompt that you want to guide it with in the right direction, meaning you can control how it looks like and where does it go. From that, you can generate renders for blueprints, for example, just the side and the front view to start modeling. After you finish your model, you can use the add-on to generate ready textures for your concept vehicles, assets, or buildings, and you can do that on the fly. And you can change the style to get something that you like. As I said, the point here is iteration when doing concept design and concept art. Mesh Painter, on the other hand, is one of those add-ons that sounds obvious as soon as you say it out loud. Why am I manually duplicating and placing props when I could just paint them? And that's exactly what it does. It is basically a real-time placement tool that lets you paint, align, and scatter mesh objects directly in the viewport. You can create brushes from any mesh object, build a brush library, and paint instances onto surfaces with per brush controls for scale, spacing, offset, alignment to surface normals, following smoke direction, and randomized rotation and scale variation. Also, there is a brush tool mode for free painting, in addition to precision placer mode, where modifier keys change snapping behavior, and it has stroke editing to adjust stuff after the fact without repainting from scratch. Under the hood, it is raycast based, so it works on curved terrain, CAD imports, and complex geometry, which is exactly where vanilla placement tools usually fall apart. Better Cutter is very much a hard surface add-on, but it is not trying to compete with full-on Boolean ecosystems because it is tighter and more focused, as simple as that. You have, for example, advanced mesh cutting from one simple panel with three main cutting paradigms: planar cuts, shape-based cuts, and curve-driven cuts. The most important thing here is live updating, meaning the planar cut and cut-only modes are live update workflows, where the cut responds as you move or rotate the cutter, and you can see it beforehand. It also gets specific about shape control. I mean, follow shape cut uses the offline of a cutter plane or curve and continue to follow edits to that shape, and curve cutter supports Bezier, in addition to NURBS and poly curves, meaning you can literally draw a logo-ish outline and cut it into a mesh. On top of that, it stacks a bunch of practical operations like split versus non-split cutting, cookie cut style removal, keep inside, multi-object cutting, optional buffering of cut edges, and a very underrated safety net. So compared to Blender native tools, this is actually a solid upgrade. The next add-on is called Morph Plus. Morph Plus is not about morph targets or shape keys, despite the name. It is more like a motion graphics VFX preset toolbox, where you pick a preset, pick an object, click apply, and it builds the setup and keys of the animation between your chosen keyframes. With it, you can do things like reveals, dissolves, and particle style effects. It is useful for things like product and logo reveals, ArchViz visualization, infographics, and general motion work. I like to mention that it is transparent about the design philosophy. It can give you professional results instantly, but you have to do some work with some advanced sliders to fine-tune the result to get exactly what you want. Because it is not just a one-shot gimmick, but something you can polish to find your exact style and the result that you want. Close Bone Picker is one of those tiny concept, huge payoff ideas for character animation. As you know, bone selection isn't hard, it is just a constant annoyance, and this add-on is trying to cut that by replacing fiddly clicking with shortcut-driven selection in addition to navigation. You see, the core feature is a custom hierarchy, so you design a bone selection hierarchy that matches how you actually animate, and then you move through it with shortcuts. Beyond that, you register bones for direct access via pie menus, and it even pulls bone collection toggling up into the 3D view, so you're not traveling to the properties editor all day long just to hide or show the right layers. And two workflow points actually stood out, as very animator pain point aware. It has a jump to pose mode correctly even when other projects are selected kind of feature, and it has broad compatibility with Rigify, AutoRig Pro, and even custom rigs. There is also a dedicated node editor that is used to build a custom hierarchy and pie menus, with a promise that there is only one node type to learn. Plus, it supports more complex conditional selection logic. Still with animation, there is a new add-on called Anim Favorites. Anim Favorites is trying to make your animation workflow practical. I mean, it doesn't try to change how you animate, it just tries to stop you from retrying the same graph editor or dope sheet filter strings 500 times per shot. The core mechanic is actually simple. Save filter tags as clickable favorites directly in the editor header, then reapply instantly, but the details is where it comes sticky. Favorites can be local, I mean per blend file, or global across different projects, so you can promote or demote between these scopes, and modify click behaviors cover common variations. I mean things like extend, appending text, invert filtering, and graph editor only isolate sequences that hide and unhide channels. To be clear, the add-on won't generate animation, won't touch rigs, and it only manages channel filtering and visibility, so it is unlikely to break a production file. I mean, at least not in scary ways. On the other hand, this new add-on called Lazy Atlas automates combining multiple objects and materials into a single texture atlas, and it also tries to make the shader baking feel less like a ritual and more like part of the normal workflow. The feature list is honestly solid for what it is aiming at. You have the ability to bake procedural materials into standard PBR textures, an automatic Mega Atlas packer that packs multiple objects into one optimized sheet, full PBR map coverage, which includes everything from diffuse, normals, metallic, emission, and so on, a non-destructive approach when it creates a new optimized copy for export, and it keeps the original mesh safe. By the way, if you already have PBR textures, you build an atlas group, click a grid tie number, and it packs the objects plus copies these textures into that tile. So if you are starting from procedural Blender shaders, you run a one-click bake per object to create a baked PBR version, then you atlas pack that baked result. Easy Scatter Pro, as you can tell from the name, is a new scattering add-on that comes with 5 pillars which are clearly defined. First of all, you have a pin tool for precise placement, like normal aware snapping, interactive rotation before confirming, scroll-based scale control, and even a line scatter for evenly spaced objects. Second, you have the throw scatter mode, which uses Blender's rigid body physics to drop objects from the cursor. Then you have the circle scatter for fast population with brush or lasso support, and live density and brush radius tweaks. The other one is called fall-off scatter, that create gradient transitions, which is denser and larger in the center, and then it starts fading out. And lastly, you have billboard scatter, which is designed for sprite and card placement with optional camera-facing orientation. Where this starts to look really useful is in the advanced workflow feature layer. You have non-destructive mirroring with multiple axis combos and center modes, and a smart optimization system with camera culling to keep viewport FPS up. In addition, session-based layering so each scatter operation becomes its own editable group, plus eraser and replacer modes for art directable iteration. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about Blender to Substance Painter Live Link. This add-on is actually a bridge tool to help you eliminate the constant export and import loop between Blender and Substance Painter. First of all, you have instant geometry model sync, including replacing the model entirely while keeping substance layers aligned. This, in addition to bidirectional material and texture transfer, which means you can transfer materials from Blender to Substance Painter, and high-quality textures back to Blender. In addition, you got a real-time live link where changes in one software are visible in the other. The automation detail that could make or break it is the smart auto sync with performance timer. So it offers manual sync or automatic sync, and the smart timer waits until you apparently finish the action, pauses briefly for stability, then pushes the update, basically trying to avoid the classic auto sync fights you mid-edit kind of problem. And there you have it, guys. If you like these add-ons, you will find all the necessary links in the description. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up to receive more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching. and I will see you in the next one.